this evening, February 22nd. I hope everybody's having a nice evening. We're going to start this evening with our pledge leader. And our pledge leader this evening is Brianna Anderson, and I'm going to read a few words. Brianna, you want to? There you go. Brianna Anderson is a fifth grade student at Dare Elementary School. Brianna started her elementary career at Dare as a kindergarten student and has been active in our school ever since. Brianna is or has been involved in Earth Kids Club, Running Walking Club, Yearbook Club, and Girls on the Run. Last year, she served as our SCA reporter, and this year, Brianna is our SCA president. She has consistently been on the A honor roll and is a regular on the Good Citizens list each marking period. Her favorite subject is reading, and she loves reading outside of school, too. Brianna's teachers sing her praises, saying that she is dependable, reliable, and always going above what is expected of her as a student. Outside of school, Brianna loves spending time with her family and enjoys playing with her friends. She is a dancer and plays lacrosse and field hockey. Brianna is an outstanding example of a DARE student, and we are so very proud of her hard work and accomplishments. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brianna. All right, at this time, we're going to move into our awards and recognitions. And at the beginning here, we're going to start with our seniors of the month. And let's see. I believe, Ms. Haywood, you have our first one.
I do have the senior from Bruton High School, but before I introduce her, we have so many goodies up here. It's like it's Christmas time.
It's everywhere.
And I just want to say thank you very much. And somebody said, do you want to move them out of the way? No. I will find everything. I may lose the computer, but this stays put. Thank you, everybody, so very much. Now it is my honor to introduce to you the Senior of the Month for February from Bruton High School, Taya Alexis Andrews. And Taya is here with Mom and Dad and Sister Tristan and grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Lewis. Everybody stand up. If there's anybody whose name I didn't call, please stand up. And let me share some information with you about Taya. Bruton High School is proud to honor Taya Andrews as Senior of the Month for February. Taya is a natural leader. She is personable, intelligent, and trustworthy. Taya has been an active member of the track and field and cheerleading since the 9th grade. She has demonstrated leadership in the Key Club and has completed numerous service projects. She serves as the treasurer of the National Honor Society and as the Spirit Club coordinator for the senior class. She spends a considerable amount of time supporting her community and volunteering in her church as a youth leader. Taya recently served as a volunteer support staff member for the new journaling guide during its publication and anniversary event. Last summer, she served as the delegate for Girls State. Taya has served her school and community while maintaining a 4.10 GPA and received high honors during each year of high school. Taya plans to attend college and major in biochemistry. Please join me in congratulating her.
Ms. Kurski.
I'd like to echo Mrs. Haywood's statement. So I so much appreciate all of these goodies and what the teachers and students have done for us this month in honor of School Board Appreciation. Thank you. And it is with great pleasure that I have the opportunity to announce the Student of the Month for Grafton High School is Olivia Darko. Would you please stand with your parents, Emmanuel and Esther Darko? Ms. Olivia Darko is the Senior of the Month for February 2016 for Grafton High School. Olivia is very involved at Grafton High School. She is a member of the National Honor Society, and she serves as president of the Key Club and vice president of the Spanish Honor Society. She is a top scholar, having earned highest honors at Grafton for all 4 years, and she has been acknowledged as a NAACP Act So recipient. Olivia recognizes the importance of helping others, and her volunteer work extends beyond the school walls into the community. She gives her time and her talents to Riverside Hospital General Surgery, Tab Library Children's Reading Program, and she babysits on the side. In addition to her high academic and moral standards, Olivia has also been a member of Grafton's award-winning competition cheerleading team. With all that she undertakes, Olivia still manages to maintain a 4.48 GPA and hopes to attend Vanderbilt University next fall and major in global health studies. Grafton High School is honored to recognize Olivia Darko as its February Senior of the Month. Olivia, we are so very proud of you. Congratulations.
And I have the next Senior of the Month from Tab High School, Emma Vedak Gross. And I apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly. Is Emma here? Emma, did I pronounce that wrong? It's Vedak. I knew it was a 50-50 thing. Okay. Emma, do you have some people with you? Yes. Come on and stand up. They thought they'd get by without it, didn't they? Okay. As a military dependent, Emma has had to move a great deal, but has learned to overcome the obstacles her situation has presented. She arrived at Tab High School last year as a junior and soon made a major impact. With her strong interest in video production, Emma saw Tab's undermanned Tiger TV Club and immediately took action. This year, with Emma serving as president of Tiger TV, the video news program is back in regular production, mainly because of her efforts. A talented musician, Emma showcased her leadership skills this year by being named drum major for the Tab High Marching Band. She is also first chair oboe in symphonic band. With a strong background in robotics, Emma has found her own opportunity to continue her efforts as a member of FRC Team 122 Robotics, a Hampton Roads robotics club. In the classroom, Emma is outstanding, maintaining a GPA of 4.2878 while completing 8 AP courses in the past 2 years. She is a National Merit Commended student who will be attending Cornell University in the fall. Energetic, ambitious, and outgoing, Emma has quickly made her lasting mark at Tab. She exemplifies all the traits of an exceptional student leader, and we are proud to present Emma Vedak Gross as Tab High School's Senior of the Month for February. Congratulations, Emma. And Mr. Mentor. Mr. Medford.
Thank you, Dr. Joy.
You look alike.
I was like, somebody move something on me. Senior of the Month for February for York High School is Darius Reynolds. Darius, are you here? Yeah, we didn't hear back from Darius, so he's probably busy looking at some of the stuff that's in his letter. So I'm going to go ahead and read what we have for Darius. York High School is pleased to announce the selection of Darius Reynolds as the February Senior of the Month. Darius is a star defense lineman and co-captain of the York High School football team. Darius enjoys playing football, and he loves being around his teammates. Darius feels, as one of the captains on the football team, it is important to lead by example. Darius is a positive role model for his class, for his teammates, both on and off the football field. He has worked hard to earn a 3.75 grade point average and prides himself on being an excellent scholar and student athlete. In the classroom, Darius encourages his teammates the same way he encourages them on the football field. He was named the Defensive Player for the Year for the 3A East region in football. As a result of his academics, Darius has received academic honors for 2 years and highest honors as a junior. Darius is a member of the Latin Club and Latin National Honor Society. In addition to being active in the York High School community, Darius works at McDonald's and soon will be employed by Walgreens. He plans to attend college and work at the Disney Company in Florida. York High School is proud of Darius and his accomplishments. Let's all congratulate him. Thank you. And Dr. George, we'll get him back at the next meeting to recognize him publicly.
Very good. Okay, at this time, Dr. Shander and I are going to go down front. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Ms. Haywood. Okay?
We will move into our Student Service Award recipients this evening as they move down forward. We have the first representative from Coventry Elementary, Nicole Knight. If Nicole will come forward with the principal. And Mrs. Kursky.
Yes, we have Principal Paul Assassin and Nicole Knight, a fifth grader at Coventry Elementary School. The teachers at Coventry are proud to recommend Nicole Knight as the recipient of this year's Student Service Award. Nicole is a terrific student. Her work ethic has earned her a place on the All-A honor roll since third grade. In the classroom, she is always willing to assist teachers and her classmates. She consistently shows kindness and caring by helping peers when needed with a jovial attitude. Throughout the school, Nicole is respectful and courteous. In addition to being an amazing student, Nicole also participates in many Coventry activities. This year, Nicole is a member of the Girls on the Run organization, Battle of the Books, Library Page, Morning Show reporter, SCA class representative, and is a flag attendant. Nicole's Battle of the Book coaches state that she is an asset to their team and is a top contender for representing Coventry in the Battle of the Books competition. Outside the school, Nicole participates in Girl Scouts, dance, martial arts, and running. As a dancer that relies on vibrations and movement, Nicole has earned several trophies. When Nicole isn't dancing, she is running in various races. To date, Nicole has participated in over 10 races and continues to improve her time with each race. Her personal running goals are pretty lofty, and she plans on running in a marathon one day. It is a great pleasure and honor to recognize Nicole Knight as Coventry Student Services Award recipient. She is a true role model for our school and our community. Congratulations.
Mr. Mentor, you have Dare Elementary.
Yes, ma'am, I do. Thank you. It is a real honor and privilege this evening to introduce you to Dare Elementary's Student Service Award winner for February. It'd be Alex Walton. If you would come forward with your principal, Lindsay Cacavalli. Read a little bit about Alex. Alex Walton is a fifth grade student at Dare Elementary School. Alex is a standout student. He is outgoing, kind, and a good role model. He helps others stand up for what is right and goes out of his way to make new students at Dare feel welcome. Because of all these things, Alex was recently chosen to the Green Zone Ambassador. Now, in an official capacity, Alex helps other students stay in the Green Zone. Outside of school, Alex is a member of the Boy Scout, Pack 126, as a fourth-year Cub Scout. He stays active in the community, leading trash and leaf cleanup efforts to keep the community looking great. Alex is also involved, or has been involved, in activities at Dare, including Earth Kids Club, Running and Walk Club, Yearbook Club, and Chrome Club. He has consistently been on the AB Honor Roll and is a regular on the Good Citizens list each marking period. His favorite subject is math because it challenges his brain to think differently to solve complex problems. Alex's parents and teachers describe him as dependable and reliable. He can always be counted on to do what is right in every situation, Dare Elementary School is proud to honor Alex as our Dare recipient of the Student Service Award. Please join me in congratulating.
And I have the honor of introducing to you the Student Service Award recipient from Queens Lake Middle School, Caroline Arnett, who's the 8th grader, and Mr. Scott Meadows, principal. Now, Caroline, correct this. One place says 8th grade, one place says 7th. All right, we're going to give you that extra year. Caroline Arnett is an 8th grader at Queens Lake Middle School. She clearly loves school and consistently demonstrates a strong and positive work effort in all of her classes. Each quarter, Caroline's name can be found on the school honor roll, and her efforts paid off last year when she was admitted into the National Junior Honor Society. Caroline is in her 2nd year participating in the Middle School Arts Magnet. I'm sorry, 3rd year. Thank you for correcting me. Caroline is in her 3rd year participating in the Middle School Arts Magnet program and plans on applying to the School of the Arts for high school. Caroline is also a regular participant in the annual PTA Reflections competition, where she has often placed first and advanced to the state level. Character has been explained as what you do when no one is looking, and Caroline shows her exceptional character in many ways throughout the school year. Every morning, where Caroline arrives at school, she heads directly to the school library to turn on all the computers and to reshelf books. Caroline continues her work in service outside of the walls of Queens Lake Middle School. She volunteers at the Heritage Humane Society every weekend and participates in the community theater with the Williamsburg Players. It is because of her involvement in these and other community organizations that Caroline was the Queens Lake Middle School Prudential Spirit of Community Award nominee for this school year. We are all very proud of Caroline's successes and look forward to all that she will accomplish while in York County Public Schools. Please join me in congratulating Caroline. We move now to our community volunteers for the month of February. Mrs. Kursky, you have Coventry Elementary.
I do, and I would like to invite Paula Sasson and Sophie Davis to come to the stage. Sophie Davis is an enormous asset to the students and staff at Coventry Elementary School. She truly understands the connection between parent involvement and student success in the classroom. She has led the Coventry PTA in the role of president for the last 4 years. During her tenure in this role, she has brought many positive events and activities to Coventry. She started our Boo-hoo Woo-hoo breakfast that happens on the first day of the school year to help ease the transition for our newest parents and to celebrate the opportunity for all parents to begin volunteering and helping out during the school year. Sophie has also chaired many committees while president when we could not find someone else to step up. Sophie is a huge advocate for students and brings volunteers into the school for all types of events. Last year, she helped organize Coventry's 25th anniversary celebration, working with teachers, parents, and community members to make this a spectacular event and a true celebration for the whole Coventry community. Sophie also keeps our parents informed each month by pulling together all events for the month onto one small refrigerator flyer so that everyone is up to date. This barely touches the surface of the contributions of time and talent Sophie has given to Coventry Elementary School. It is an honor and a privilege to work with someone who is so dedicated to our school, community, and most of all, our students. Sophie, thank you so very much for everything you do to improve the lives of students. You are most deserving of this award.
We understand that the representative from Dare Elementary could not be with us this evening. She will come back next month. And I have the honor of introducing to you the Volunteer of the Month from Queens Lake Middle School, Stacy Lohr. And Mr. Meadows, please come back. When I read this, I got tired. But you understand what I mean. It is with great pleasure that I present Mrs. Stacy Lohr as the Volunteer of the Month from Queens Lake Middle School. In an age where the demands of life pull us in multiple directions, Mrs. Lohr continually makes time to support the staff, students, and community at Queens Lake. Mrs. Lohr's commitment to Queens Lake has proven to be invaluable. She helped kick off the school year by helping to organize our PTA staff luncheon to welcome staff back to school and to encourage PTA membership. As we began the school year, Mrs. Lohr served as a major PTA presence during our open house and back-to-school night events. Not taking time off, Mrs. Lohr jumped feet first into two of our major fundraising events, Non-Fright Night and the Holiday Bazaar. For each of these events, Mrs. Lohr played a significant role in such tasks as organizing food donations, coordinating volunteers, and even cleaning following each event. The completion of these larger school activities has by no means signaled the end to Mrs. Lohr's involvement, quite the opposite. As we moved into second semester, she will continue the year organizing major school events which focus on both student and staff recognition. Through her service as the PTA treasurer, she has taken a leadership role on the board and is on her way to earning an honorary degree in business and marketing through her Spirit Wear and other fundraising efforts. In all of her free time, Mrs. Lohr has managed to log a significant amount of time in the Queens Lake Library and Media Center, where she has accumulated quite a few hours pitching in where needed. Mrs. Lohr serves as a representative on the Gifted Education Advisory Committee, and as if this was not enough, she provides invaluable ongoing support to the Queens Lake Odyssey of the Mind team. Mrs. Lohr is a significant asset to the Queens Lake Middle School community and is deserving of this recognition as she serves our students and staff with energy and enthusiasm. Please join me in congratulating her. And we now have the York Foundation for Public Education presentation, and I'll turn it to Mrs. Kursky.
Yes, I would like to invite Dick Carter, a York Foundation for Public Education board member, to come to the stage, along with tonight's student award winners, Brianna, Alex, Nicole, Caroline, Taya, Olivia, and Emma. I feel like Bob Barker from The Price is Right. Come on down. We have certificates and delicious cookies made especially for you by Cookie Text and Edible Tweet. To Brianna Anderson, a fifth grader from Dare Elementary School. She did a wonderful job reciting tonight's Pledge of Allegiance. And we want to congratulate our Student Service Award recipients, Lex Walton from Dare Elementary, Nicole Knight from Coventry Elementary, and Caroline Arnett from Queens Lake Middle School. And congratulations to our Seniors of the Month. Are they up here? Seniors of the Month, come on down. Yeah. We have Taya Andrews from Bruton, Olivia Darko from Grafton, Emma Vidoc Gross from Tab, and we will make sure that we give Darius Reynolds from York his cookie and certificate. Congratulations to all of our wonderful students. let me just say, on behalf of the York Foundation for Public Education and in partnership with its donor, Jeannie Fioca of Cookie Text and Edible Tweet, we congratulate you all.
We now have, want to recognize School Board Appreciation. Before I move into that, we have a special presentation, and I get to be a part of this and said, gotcha. Special School Board Clerk Appreciation. Sandy, would you come on up, please? And she looks at me, what? And I'm going to read some information about Mrs. Ford as she stands up here. The Virginia School Boards Association designates the third week of February as School Board Clerk Recognition Week each year. The York County School Board joins the VSBA in recognizing the many and varied contributions of school board clerks throughout the Commonwealth, but most especially the York County School Board Clerk, Sandy Ford. In addition to her responsibilities for keeping accurate records of the meetings and proceedings of the school board, she records all of the expenses and official acts of the school board. She assists, she assists board members and the superintendent while scheduling from school visits to professional development activities. She is often the first person parents, employees, and community members speak to when they call or email with questions and concerns. Not only does she bring all of this chaos into order, she does it with compassion and care. Mrs. Ford, we thank you for all that you do to support this board, especially our superintendent and our community. Thank you so very much, and join me in congratulating her.
And Mrs. Haywood, can I just say
Sure.
a couple of words? For the past 2 years as being board chair and before passing that torch to Dr. George, Sandy Ford is like the board chair's right arm. A kind heart, always a smile. She's somebody that I can pick that phone up, and no matter how stressful the moment was of what we were dealing with as a board or as a board chair, just hearing her laugh on the other end of that phone would just brighten my day. And so I know that I still will call her on the phone and give her a hard time about something every once in a while. And but just knowing that there's a smile on the end of that telephone and that heart is there, she truly cares about everything that we do in YCSD. She's a special person. And I know for 2 years you made my life very easy in very difficult times. And so I appreciate that. And and Dr. George, you're in good hands, definitely with her, keeping you straight too. So anyway, but I had to share that, so thank you.
Well deserved, and the look was priceless.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Haywood. At this time, I'm going to turn this next presentation over to Dr. Shander.
Thank you, Dr. George, board members. Just real quick, I'll echo what Mr. Medford said. I've been here for about 1.5 years, and quite honestly, if it wasn't for Ms. Ford, I don't know how I make it through each day. She, above all, keeps me going, keeps me organized, but you know you're truly blessed when you have someone as positive as she is and the level of care she brings to this organization. So thank you, Ms. Ford. I appreciate it. Now on to the school board. So it is School Board Appreciation Month, and as you can tell, by looking up here, we have a lot of folks who have appreciated our board members. We've also, as superintendent, we've received recognition, a special certificate from the VSBA. So board members, you have that in front of you, along with a small gift. It's an orange book that you have in front of you that it's called Pulling Together. It's a wonderful teamwork book. So look forward to diving into that book with you all.
That
all-
means we have to read it.
You do have to read it, but I have,
We have
right.
homework.
And there's going to be a quiz. As a way to express our appreciation to them for the leadership, advocacy, and support they provide to our school division. So thank you so much, board members, for everything you do each and every day. I also have two principals that I've asked to come forward. So I'm going to ask Lisa Ruffier from Grafton Bethel Elementary School, if you'll come forward to the podium, as well as Jennifer Goodwin, principal from Walter Mill Elementary School, to say a few words.
Very nice.
Good evening, Chairman George, Vice Chairman Haywood, members of the board, Dr. Shandor. It is with great pleasure that we are here tonight during School Board Appreciation Month to recognize each of you for your dedication, service, and commitment to our school division. Dr. Rita Pearson, a respected educator, motivational speaker, and nationally recognized advocate for children, once said that every child needs a champion. She believed that even the most challenging students needed someone in their corner to advocate for them, to see the good in them, and to cheer them on towards their goals. She believed in the power of relationships and the positive impact that we can have on our children's lives and their future successes. We'd like to take a moment this evening to say thank you for being a champion for the children of York County. You are our champions, and you work hard for our students through your service, your time, and your commitments. Together, you work towards a common goal, and that is to give our students the best education possible. We are grateful for all that you do for our students and our schools. I'm excited to bring Ms. Lisa Ruffier with me and some special guests for the next portion of our recognition.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to honor you tonight for the work that you do on behalf of our students. It is literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others succeed. And when you serve as champions for students, we all succeed. I'd like to introduce 3 successful Grafton Bethel students. I have Taylor Hodges. She's a 5th grader and our SCA president. Helen Schmuck, 5th grader and Reflections winner. And I have Isaiah Chisholm, 5th grader and lead cameraman for our morning show, and SCA treasurer. In keeping with Read Across America, our students have some Dr. Seuss quotes that also captured their respect for your position on the school board.
You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction as you choose.
I like that.
Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you.
Unless someone like you cares a whole lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
That's nice.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
Thank you for your dedication, ambition, and belief in all students. We commend you as champions for our schools. In honor of our appreciation, York High School, Grafton Bethel, and Waller Mill would like to present you with a medal. If I can have my students back.
Olympics. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
And just as you're displaying your goodies, we want you to wear them.
Nice.
We are Olympians.
you.
We may not do anything else in the Olympics.
What you do matters. Thank you for allowing us to join you tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Wow.
Thank you so much. A little overwhelming. You should see the stuff back here.
It's like Christmas.
Yes. Okay. This time, we're going to turn to Dr. Shander again for our presentation for Accent on Academics.
Thank you, Dr. George. Board members, for this evening's Accent on Academics, Yorktown Elementary School will present Show Me the Money. During a recent fifth grade PBL or project-based learning project, students were tasked to act as financial planners in a mock budget simulation. As part of this project, students were given a real-life fixed income in which they had to develop a livable budget. Throughout this experience, they also had to problem solve through real-life events and stay within the given amount. This project supports the Virginia Standards of Learning through student development within the 21st century competencies of critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. To share more about this presentation and introduce the students and other presenters is Ms. Kelly Denny, principal from Yorktown Elementary School.
Good evening, Chairman George, Dr. Shandor, and members of the board. Before we get started, I also wanted to just take a moment and tell you from Yorktown Elementary how much we appreciate all that you do to advocate for our students and staff and families. So happy School Board Appreciation Month to you all. I'm excited to be here tonight with four of our most fabulous Yorktown Elementary students, Sinai Conley, Michelle Freeman, Jessica Springhorn, and Ellie Riley, as well as our entire fifth grade team, who were excited to be here and support this project this evening. What they want to share with you is an innovative project-based learning activity that they've implemented in their classrooms for the last 2 years. This project is a direct result of the project-based learning training that 4 of our 5 teachers were able to attend. During that training, they had the opportunity to work collaboratively and take the time to plan the needed intricate details of their lesson that they then brought forth in their classrooms. It is my pleasure to hand over our presentation to our wonderful 5th grade team, and they are going to tell you how they showed the money and started with the following driving question: how can we plan our finances so that we know how to live on a budget?
Good evening. Project-based learning projects begin with an entry event. To begin the entry event, students were assigned groups. They were given a piece of chart paper to sketch out a budget with an income of $2,500. Very little direction was given as to what to include in the budgets.
After we finished our unstructured budgets, they were displayed around the room. Teams were given the chance to look at each other's budgets. Each team was given a pad of Post-it notes. Each of us wrote one I like and one I wonder about the budgets and put our comments on the budgets. We then were given a team contract to sign. We were assigned a family profile which included the number of people in the family and the income or incomes. We then chose housing and transportation for the family.
After viewing each other's unstructured budgets, teams were given Budget 1. Very general categories for expenditures were given, such as housing, food, transportation, and utilities. Teams then filled in other categories. It was interesting to read and share the I like and I wonder comments. An example of an I wonder was, I wonder why you have a mop on your list. Will you buy a mop every month? And I like that you budgeted for education.
To involve our parents in the project, we brought home a shopping list and discussed basic grocery needs for our family. Our parents helped us decide what categories and quantities of foods are purchased in our household for a month. We took the planners and combined them at school to determine the needs for our mock family. We also asked our parents about events that may occur unexpectedly that affect the monthly budget.
Teams began to research specific information in order to fine-tune Budget 2. Students had to determine actual costs of the necessary items. They discussed, at times very passionately, some of the optional expenditures such as entertainment. Students could be heard trying to persuade their team why they could or could not afford certain types of entertainment. In order to include items on the budget, the team had to come to a consensus.
We used online grocery sites such as Harris Teeter and Farm Fresh to shop for our families using our food planner. We determined what items were regularly purchased and what items are not. We also researched the cost of gas based on the vehicle our families drove. We also looked at options for eating out and looked at menus to different types of restaurants to determine how much it would cost for the family to eat out. We were given our 2 unexpected expenses and 1 unexpected source of income. Some of the unexpected expenses were the loss of an income, the family car breaking down, or a flood ruining the carpet with no flood insurance. We talked about how these events would impact our budget. We looked at areas in our budget that could be adjusted if needed to cover the expenses. We talked about how to best use the unexpected income.
Budget 3 is where we added the unexpected expenses into our budget and made decisions about the changes that needed to be made to our monthly budget. There were parts of our budget that we did not or could not change. For instance, we did not want to change the amount going into savings, and we could not change the amount for car payment or car insurance.
We looked at the budget to decide if the expense will carry over month to month or if we could cover the expense in 1 month with our current budget. We used Budget 3 as a working copy. If we could not afford to cover the expense in full, we talked about options for payment, such as using the credit card and increasing our credit card payment.
This was our final clean copy of the budget that we presented to the class. We had to make sure that our math was correct, so each area was checked carefully.
As a culminating activity, we invited Chris Moore from Bayport Credit Union to present a workshop to our students on financial planning.
One of the activities that we did was to determine what items were wants and what items were needs. We discovered that some wants may be needs depending on the family situation. A cell phone is an example. If the phone is the only phone, it is a need. If the phone is an extra and not the primary way to communicate, it's a want. Mrs. Moore gave us cards with activities that families could do together. We had to choose which would be more cost-effective. For instance, water park versus beach.
As a result of this project, we learned what our parents consider when budgeting money and making financial decisions based on income. We learned that this is an important decision-making process to meet the needs of a family. We learned that savings is also an important part of budgeting.
In our curriculum, 5th graders must be able to add, subtract, multiply, divide whole numbers and decimal numbers. This project had our students doing just that, but with a real outcome. The answers had much more meaning when used to make important budget decisions for families. This was a process in which our students grew in their true understanding of the money decisions that are real for families. A very high level of engagement was evident at every stage of this process. When we teachers would meet with the teams to talk about how the budgets needed to be adjusted, they truly listened, recognizing that our own experiences with budgeting would result in solid advice. We believe that this is a learning experience that they will take with them. And at this time, if we have time, we would invite your questions.
Give them a hand.
Yeah. I guess I wonder why we wait till high school to give the personal finance.
That's what I was going to say. I think this is a project that needs to be continued in middle school and then again.
Yeah, absolutely.
They may just earn their high school credit, actually, in that
I
course.
don't have a question, but it is truly education for life.
And I have a
Very
couple
much
of
so.
questions. One was, I guess, for the students, all right? And that is, before you dived into this project, did you pay a lot of attention to how monies were spent in the home? Family, your savings, your money you earned doing different things? And do you pay more attention to it now?
Well, I didn't really pay attention to it before, but now I pay more attention to it. Because at first we kind of did, it's kind of like science where you make a hypothesis, except we started out with $2,500 and we just did what we thought we were supposed to do. And then we learned what we were really supposed to do. We got an actual, like, money that we get every month, and then we had more of an idea of what we were supposed to do.
And then my second question, I guess, is now when you go to the store with mom or dad and you're grocery shopping or picking up odds and ends of things, how many of you now go, Mom, we can't get that, it's not in the budget?
Yeah.
I think it's a great program that y'all have done. And I like to see that you brought in the private sector. You know, you went out into the real world, brought back someone that has done so much for YCSD, but also represents a local bank that can bring that real world and connect all the dots. So fantastic job.
Do you have a, do you have a business card? We could all use some of this.
Help us with the school budget.
No doubt.
Right now.
That was excellent. Thank you.
They can stay.
Excellent. Yeah, there you go. Excellent.
Start them off at $135
Okay.
million and let them work from there.
At this time, we're going to take a short break so we can come down and meet all our award recipients. So. Be able to greet our audience and our award recipients. At this time, we're going to move into our business portion of the meeting. And at this time, do we have any unfinished business? Seeing that, we're going to move on to presentations. And only one presentation this evening, our construction report. And Dr. Shander, would you like to share some thoughts on that?
Thank you, Dr. George. I'm going to actually ask Mr. Shearhart if he'll come forward, Associate Director for Capital Plans. He's going to now present the construction report for the month. Mr. Shearhart.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Shandor, here's your capital projects report for the month of February. I'd like to focus on two projects this evening. The first of these is Walla Mill Elementary School. This first slide shows a floor plan of the school. You can see the area in white is the existing building, and the areas in blue are the new additions to the building. The blue area at the top of the picture is the classroom wing, and then on the right-hand side you see the gymnasium wing there with the art and music classrooms at the front of that gymnasium. Then you see at the lower part of the picture are the expansions for the main offices and also for the library. And this expansion at the front of the building, it also includes the security vestibule. Over the last couple of weeks, the contractors made preparations for construction at the front of the school. The existing canopy was removed over the last few weekends, and a wooden enclosed walkway was constructed at the front of the school. This enclosed walkway will provide safety and protection from the weather. The contractor does not plan to do any active work at the front of the building during arrival and dismissal times. The principal, through Monday messages and through meetings, has kept the staff and parents informed of the construction progress. The reason this addition at the front of the school has to happen now is so that is in order for it to be completed by the time school starts in the fall. So here's now they have been working at the front of the school, like I just mentioned, and removing the front canopy, but they've also been working at the back of the school and the side of the school. So all underground plumbing and electrical conduit for the gymnasium and the classroom wings is complete. And this morning, the contractor poured the concrete floor slab for the classroom wing. This is a major milestone, so now they can start putting up the walls, and hopefully the construction project will move along more rapidly. So here is what the canopy used to look like a few weeks ago. Then a couple of weekends ago, this is the President's Day weekend, they took apart everything there except for the steel structure you see there, and because of the weather, they just couldn't get it all done. And so now, this is what it looks like this morning. So they took the metal frame down, and this is a wooden enclosed entrance to the front of the school. This is attached to the front doors of the school, and this is to give the students and staff safety and protection from the weather while they're going into the building. So you can see the sand on the side there. It's on both sides of that entranceway, so they can start doing the digging and pouring the footers and stuff on both sides of that entryway. So now that doesn't look very nice and very attractive now, but this is what it's going to look like in the future. This is a rendering by the architect, and you see on the left-hand side the bricked area there, the 3 windows. That's the expansion of the offices. The white area in the center includes the expansion of the library as well as the security vestibule, and the area that's projecting up above the building there in the back, the brick area, that is the new gym addition. So it will look vastly different than it does right now.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
If you go back to this, just the drawing, you said to go to the classrooms in the back of the building, there's a walkway, a closed-in.
The closed-in walkway is at the front. Is at the front of the building. That's the wooden. That's the wooden enclosure that I was talking about.
Okay, okay. And for the gym area, we can just walk straight down the hallway into that gym area? It will be almost like it's attached?
Yes, ma'am. When it's completed, the hallway will just continue straight through.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is what was happening this morning about 7 o'clock. Actually, it started about 6 o'clock this morning, pouring the concrete. This is a pumper truck here, and it takes the concrete and pumps it overhead to where they need it on the slab there. And then here you can see where they're finishing the slab this morning, or finishing this portion of the slab. So they were very busy this morning and this weekend. The second project I'd like to touch on is the New Horizons Regional Education Facility Center. This is for the special education. This is at the New Horizons site on Woodside Lane. And as you know, New Horizons is a joint venture between 6 different school districts. And today was actually the first day in the building. They did not. They planned to start on the 22nd of, the first day of March. And due to all the efforts of students and families and also the architects, they were actually able to start school today in the new facility. So it was reported to me by Kelly Wood, the director there, that staff, students, families, and even the architects helped move furniture, transfer things from the old to the new building, and to set them up. So they were doing this the last week and this weekend, so they were very, very busy. Kelly Wood, the director, took me through the building today on a short tour, and I was able to take some pictures. She would also wanted to point it out to me to make sure that I expressed her thanks to many people that were involved in making helping the new facility come to fruition. It was a long journey, but it has finally been done, and they are very excited. The students are excited, parents are excited too, and the staff. So here are some of the pictures. This is the front of the building. You can see it's a 2-story building, and just beyond the car is the main entrance to the building now. This is their gymnasium. Very nice gym. You can see the backboards there, the basketball backboards. These can actually be lowered down so the elementary school kids can play using these backboards. And then if you notice on the wall there in the back, that yellow with the spots on it, that's actually a climbing wall. So they actually have a climbing wall in their gymnasium. So it's very nice. This is their cafeteria. You can also see the color scheme that they've chosen is a pale blue. You can see it on the door frames and above there. They actually told me the white on the wall is actually a very, very light blue. It's very soothing to the students. And this is I thought this was a great touch here. This is a student kitchen. And this is where the students can come and learn how to cook and how to work in a regular kitchen. This is for the students. This is not the staff lounge or anything like that. This is actually a kitchen for the students. So it was a great tour of the building. It was a very, very beautiful facility. They do not have a date yet chosen for the open house, but I would encourage you all, if you have the opportunity, to go there and look at the building. It's very beautiful. And that's my last slide. Do you have any questions for me?
I'd just like to say thank you, Mark, for the presentation on New Horizons. Joe Johnson sent out an email yesterday we're going in. And, you could just tell how excited he was, and the people. And my heartfelt thanks to all the parents and people that came out to help move, and the construction company that put the people in trucks there on their own time to come and help. So they were really excited, because if you saw where they came from to where they are now, it's a blessing. Thank you, sir.
It's a long time coming, but also to see the changes at Wall Mill. It's great.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. Just a quick question, I guess, to put Dr. Shandor maybe on the spot just a minute. Or Mr. Shearhart, you want to give any update reference to Yorktown Elementary School at all? Just anything at all that where we are based on the last bits of information that we were provided, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, or last time you gave a report on Yorktown Elementary School stuff?
I received an email this afternoon that the architects have signed the contract, so the contract is being sent overnight to purchasing. So we should have that tomorrow, and then we can bring it around for the signatures on our side from Dr. Shandor, superintendent, and then the attorneys look at the contract so we can get the process started here. They have already started working on the project without the contract in hand.
Okay.
I got that word today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. At this time, we're going to move into our public participation at board meetings. I'd like to point out that the item right after the public participation is a public hearing on the FY17 budget. So if you are meaning to speak on one and are signed up for the other, I think it's okay just to get up at the corresponding time. So we're going to start with the public participation at board meetings. I'd like to just remind you, when you come up, state your name, state your address. You have 3 minutes, and we really need to hold to that 3 minutes because we have a fair number of speakers this evening to speak. I'd like to remind you, when you come up, please address the board as a whole. Don't address individuals up here. We'd appreciate that. So, first one signed up is Devin Wilder.
Good afternoon, members of the school board. My name is Devin Wilder, and I'm a 9th grader at Grafton High School. Thank you for allowing me to address my issues.
Address.
Oh, I'm sorry, 116 Rooney Way, Yorktown, Virginia.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to address my issues and concerns about a particular matter that affects both me and my fellow classmates in the AP Human Geography course. I would first like to talk about some of the concerns I have as far as specification. I feel as though we are not given enough guidance as to what needs to be studied for an assessment. For example, a Unit 2 test, most of the questions were very specific and mostly derived from one section of the unit. We were unaware of what chapters or what core chapters were going to be displayed on the test, which did nothing but hurt us in preparation for the assessment. Another issue I have in regards to clear instruction is the fact that there are no study guides. Every single one of my teachers hands out study guides, and in the past as well, in preparation for any assessment. They provide them not for giveaways or spoilers, but as a simple guide on how to study and what to study as well. My peers and I commented on how a study guide would be a lot more helpful, or specifications on how to study. At this point, we've just given up on study methods since none of them seem to help in preparation for an assessment. Next, I would like to talk about the excessive and unnecessary information being thrown at us, and I quote, preparation for the AP Human Geography exam. Speaking mostly towards the vocab quizzes, there's an excessive amount of information that is not relevant to the current unit of study. For example, in regards to the vocab quiz, the instructor made the comment that some of the words may not need to be known for the assessment, but claims he's prepping us for the AP Human Geography exam. It provides a distraction away from the main focal point, which is not fair to both me and my peers. I feel that within a unit of study, there should not be any other information presented that is outside the unit of study. The final issue I have is the instructor's technique of judgment and grading. I've taken notice about the unfair evaluations he's done during the first semester. I feel as though some of his grading techniques are simply based off of personal feelings and unreasonable circumstances. For example, 2 other students discussed with me the unfair judgment of his grading towards them. One student stated that the instructor took points off her paper because he didn't like her topic. Well, on the paper, the topic choice was free will, and so if there's like the potential of somebody not having a good topic, then he shouldn't have had made it free will. Another student commented that the teacher took points off of his paper due to the fact that he used a contraction in a formal paper. I did research through the entire project documents he provided, and he never mentioned once that we could or should not use a contraction in a formal paper. These are personal and unreasonable feelings that are costing students many points. This just isn't fair to us and our education. In conclusion, based off of my personal experience and discoveries, I feel that we've been put at a disadvantage based off of his feelings and that we could be assessed and graded unfairly.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Dennis Wilder.
My name is Dennis Wilder, 116 Running Way. Each of you are very familiar with the emails I forwarded you to specifically speak to the issues that I have, so I won't get heavily into that. But I did want to come this evening to let you know that my daughter and I are more than just an email. We're more than just a text message. We're just like many of you, hardworking individuals just trying to find opportunity in life. But what we do expect is that the playing field is going to be fair. I offer to you that the existing process by which the AP Human Geography course is being implemented is not fair. It does not follow learning objectives. It does not provide learning objectives to the children. The assessments do not match learning objectives. You have the specifics that I provided, but I will start reading here. Carnegie Mellon University's Everly Center of Teaching Excellence and Educational Innovation indicates that learning objectives inform students where to direct their attention. The absence of learning objectives make it difficult for students to know what they should be learning. Students can waste a great deal of time, and this uncertainty causes unnecessary anxiety. Students may rightfully complain that tests had nothing to do with what was covered in class. It has been determined that this instructor has not been utilizing learning objectives and aligning them with course material. I've yet to see a lesson plan that shows that what I'm instructing aligns with the objectives and the manner in which I'm assessing. The manner in which I'm instructing is consistent with the manner in which I'm assessing. That is why students who study 2 hours a night for 2.5 weeks can see a test and not recognize the questions. I'm just asking, and you know specifically what I need. Look into that. I have removed my daughter from that class. I have received input, some I like, some I don't, from the school board, from the administration. But one thing that no one seems to want to recognize, although some changes have been made, that there is a retroactive and negative impact on these students. They came to this class with A's in high school level courses. They're studying hard, but they're not getting it. The anxiety. When I told my daughter, stop worrying about this, she was able to focus on her trig exam and get a 94. Unfortunately, that 94 only got her average to a B. These children are facing a very challenging society. Tonight is Champions Night. Definition of a core champion is when you step up and show up for someone in need. I submit to you on this evening, those children are in need. My daughter's no longer in that. We're going to do AP online. We can do AP virtual. But there are other children still under this very unfair scenario. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Tammy Rosario.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the school board, and Dr. Shandor. My name is Tammy Rosario, and I reside at 104 Bellows Place. I have a middle schooler and a high schooler. My daughter attends the York High School IB program. I thank you for this opportunity to speak to you tonight. I come to express my support for your commitment to study the adolescent sleep patterns through the issuance of your recent RFP. This is a crucial first step not only for our students and their families, but also for the division and the county as a whole. For students, the stakes have never been higher. We continue to raise academic standards, put more emphasis on outside commitments, as colleges and workplaces are more selective over these past several years. We can continue to emphasize time management as parents and as educators, but we are fighting an uphill battle if the system forces them to alter their natural body rhythms. It puts them at an academic disadvantage as they are sleepy during classes, missing instruction, and doing poorly on the very tests we rely upon to measure their performance. It puts their physical and mental health at risk as they experience stress and put their an anxiety in preparation for these classes. I'm very appreciative for the opportunities at this school system to participate in magnet programs such as the International Baccalaureate Program, the Governor's School, and the School of the Arts. It's a very rich and diverse offerings that we have. But in order to take advantage of these opportunities to enrich and challenge our students have to face an even earlier start time. Even if you take advantage of the transportation to our schools, you have to rise a half hour earlier and have your parents transport you there. In our area, we've developed a carpool to allow a few extra minutes of sleep for our students, and yet I still observe them falling asleep in the car. I worry about their ability to absorb an ever-increasing workload as the years go on, if this is what they're experiencing in 9th grade. But as we know, our students' successes are a major determinant of our success as a school division and a county as well. The York County School Division Strategic Plan refers to demonstrating growth and excellence in skills and knowledge, using SOLs and SATs to measure ourselves against our peers. But aren't we putting ourselves and our students at a disadvantage if we're not having later school start times, as most of them are? We need to recognize that our excellent reputation as a school district is a major economic driver for York County. It ensures that we are a destination of choice for residents and businesses, and we need to protect our property values through constant reform of things that, I'll finish up, of things that put our students at a disadvantage. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you. Namita Patel.
Good evening. This is Namita Patel, 210 Potter Lane, Yorktown, Virginia, 23693. Pardon my accent, but English is my second language, so I'll do my best to explain what I'm going to get through. My daughter is in an IB program in York, and I have a middle school, who is in the 7th grade. Now, what has happened is, with the IB program, like Tammy mentioned, we have started the carpool systems, waking up early so they can get better school times. Kishali Patel has been a very outstanding student with us straight A's. As soon as she comes back from home, she goes right into the books, so she doesn't take a break. She goes right into the study. She's a very self-dedicated person. She doesn't require me looking at her and saying, did you do your homework or not? I'm blessed with both of my kids doing their homework at the time. Her grades were starting to suffer because she was tired, Mom, I'm sleepy, come do homework, come have your meals, and it's not possible. We are blessed with a great extended family, so I have my grandparents-in-law, which are 90 years old. I have my in-laws that are senior citizens, our generation, and kids. This little timing has also disrupted our own families from a dinner timings perspective, because when they come back, they have to go to early bed, so we lost on the breakfast time together. We also lost on the dinner times together. And those are small things in the big scheme of things, but I think it's very important as we bring values to our family and we continue on with the 4 generations of love we have. So what my urge is, we need to look at it. I know you all have made the urge to take it to the next step, but please continue on this effort. This is the right thing to do. We have now mandated Kishali does take nap times when she comes back, so she's fresh with her brains to redo her homework and not, extend it. Sometimes her sleeping time goes to 11. 5 o'clock in the morning, she puts her alarm on. We don't wake up. She gets up, gets ready, and there's the time to carpool again. That's not enough sleep for a child to carry on. This, I know it might not be in time for Kishali to get all these things done, but there are other kids that are suffering the same things. I have my middle school child that will go through the same thing, hopefully get into the IB program as well. I think Tammy said it very well. York County is an amazing school. That's one of the reasons that even I commuted for years to Virginia Beach because I didn't want to get out of the York County. Been with Lincoln Financial for 15 years, and one of the reasons I've stayed in York County is the school system. So I know you will do the best interest of our kids. I know you are the champions, and I hope that you do listen to us and do take that forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kathleen Howe.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, school board members, and Dr. Shandor. My name is Kathleen Howe, and I reside at 121 Lance Way, Yorktown, Virginia. Tonight, I am here for 3 reasons. First, I ask the school board change the sign-in forms for speakers by adding an additional line for their email address. Catherine placed these forms in front of you this evening. I personally prefer number 1 because it takes less stress, printing, et cetera, off of Catherine or whoever else may be doing this during each session. But you can evaluate them during your work session and use it how you see fit. If you'd like the electrons, my email address is on the sheet as well. In doing so, by putting an email address out there, then you could send your thank you emails rather, to the constituents that speak in the meetings at real time, as opposed to spending money to send the thank you note out. Only if the person does not have an email address would they receive a letter in the mail. After all, the money that we save between ink, paper, stamps, and paper could be reallocated towards our students. Pennies equal dollars, which we need desperately here in York County to address all of our concerns that you have on your plate right now. And we do appreciate everything you have done thus far in not only hearing us, listening, and also trying to help the students one more time. Secondly, although I strongly support and will continue to monitor the progress of traditional school start time for secondary education, I will let others speak on this initiative tonight. Last but not least, I'm here on behalf of York Elementary School. On February 1st, we were informed that the construction will not take place until 2017. Initially, it was supposed to take place 2016. I find that unacceptable. Currently, the students are overcrowded in classrooms as well as the cafeteria. In addition, they only have a small patch of tar pavement to have their walk and talk sessions outside. How are the children supposed to concentrate effectively on their work when they have no way to eliminate all the pent-up energy? The kindergarten students eat lunch first, approximately an hour and 45 minutes after arriving school. It's difficult for these students to remain focused when they only have 10 minutes to get that energy out of their system. Yes, they do have an afternoon snack. Due to the overcrowding condition in the cafeteria, you also have to take into consideration that germs are being spread more, especially if the kindergartners and first grades wash the table. Thank you in advance for securing the trailers for the fall of 2016. We look forward to your continued progress concerning these issues and others, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Hirang Patel.
Thank you, members, for giving me this opportunity to come speak with you and let you know my views. My name is Hirang Patel, 210 Potter Lane, Yorktown. First and foremost, I want to say thank you. Thank you for what you guys are doing. I understand every parent, every student, everybody has their own, all of us have our own issues and problems. But as a whole, I saw that there are a lot of kids that were here today who are successful. Well, my son and my daughter, to a certain extent, I think they are, we have put them in the right place to succeed too, but I need your help. The issue is we're putting more and more stuff on our kids. whether it's learning computers, higher math. I remember when I was a kid, I studied for 4 hours and I played for 6. Well, those days are gone. We're in a global economy, and I understand that we need to catch up with the rest of the world. And we're all makeshift doing what we can. But I think sleep is one thing that is important to all of us. 3 days ago, I was trying to come up with statistics and stuff of what I want to present to you, and I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody here is educated. Everybody's looking at all kinds of statistics. Everything's out there. So I said, why don't I do this? Why don't I live in my daughter's shoes? So I did what she would do. I woke up at 4:35 in the morning and read, ate when she ate. Well, of course, I had to drive her everywhere, so that's beyond the point. But then went to bed at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And this is how I look in 2 days. This is the first time I haven't shaved. I have my own business, and I shave. I mean, I show up at work in the morning, and people are like, what is wrong with you? And this is how old I feel like I'm 10 years older in just 2 days. So think about what's going on with the kids. And you see a lot of kids with success, but think about that many more kids that are actually having to go through the same thing, with some with the support, some without the support. And if we can give them 1 more hour of sleep, 1 more. And statistics are all over the place. I mean, in Charlottesville, schools have done it, and they've been successful. Northern Virginia, same implementation has taken place, and it has been successful. So us, as being leaders in Peninsula when it comes to education, when anybody that moves into our area, first thing they look for is a house in York County because of the schooling system, because of your leadership, and because of your vision. And I hope you continue that vision, and hopefully, so that let's be the trailblazer. Let's make sure that we take steps on this so that our kids have a better opportunity to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Delphia Hedgebeth?
I'm Delphia Hedgepeth, 202 Yorkview Road, Yorktown, Virginia. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you, Dr. Shandor, Mr. Chairman, and members of the board. I appreciate this opportunity to make a citizen comment on issues pertaining to the York County School Division. I have a twofold mission tonight in coming before you again. First, let me inform you of the current status of the voucher bill, HB 389, which was the subject of an email I forwarded to you on February 4th, and which I hope you've had an opportunity to peruse and give serious consideration to. I was informed by Delegate Pogge's legislative assistant by phone this afternoon that this bill did pass the House, but only after it was amended to apply only to children with special needs who have already been identified by a school division as eligible. The bill is now being considered by the Senate. I and my fellow League of Women Voters colleagues, plus concerned PTA members, as well as other citizens of Virginia, will continue to follow this bill as it progresses through the General Assembly. Yes, an informed and concerned electorate can make a difference. My second mission tonight is to once again urge you to move with all deliberate speed, using all the experts and resources at your disposal to locate an exceptional site, an acceptable site for the new elementary school as soon as possible, especially with the new contingent of Marines to be assigned to the Naval Weapons Station. Our children deserve it, and we as citizens of the county expect it. It is unacceptable that rapid development eclipses our ability to provide an exceptional campus for our students, our most precious resource. Here is the challenge. I will be 83 years old in April, and my days of advocating for quality public education for our children and grandchildren are drawing to a close. But in a perfect world, I will cut the cake for my 85th birthday in the new Yorktown Elementary School. Thank you.
Thank you. Bobby Martin.
Hello, good evening. My name is Bobby Martin. I reside at 115 Vivian Court in Yorktown, Virginia, 23690. Good evening, Dr. Shandor and members of the school board. I come on behalf of the PTA Executive Board of Yorktown Elementary School. I'd like to briefly discuss what the PTA has done, can do, and will continue doing to support YES throughout the 2015-2016 school year, especially regarding student population growth. Student population increases are not a new topic for either the school board or the Board of Supervisors. York County PTA board members understand this. However, it has been clear to my peers and I that it is unclear to YES families what our limitations are when it comes to addressing such challenges. The PTA supports the children, faculty, and school board and school leadership on a daily basis. We help tutor children. We assist in preparing materials for YES faculty. We organize and host events that support the morale and accomplishments of both students and faculty. And we do these things regardless of student population, regardless of the size of our cafeteria and the possibility of portable classrooms, and regardless of whether or not we have sufficient volunteers. This mission is carried out by all York County PTA representatives. It becomes much more difficult to fulfill that mission when we are approached by families concerned with issues that are both beyond our span of control and not within our ability to fairly represent positions on such issues. I ask that the school board consider the following in the weeks and months ahead. 1, as you work on school board level initiatives and issues, consider how those activities and information can be disseminated via the PTAs. The PTA can facilitate in sharing updates and milestones in a timely and efficient manner to families, ensuring that not only concerned parents can participate in public discussions, but also that the uninformed parents are more likely to understand what is happening at levels above ours. 2, if there are issues that YES leadership, faculty, and PTA cannot immediately affect, seek every opportunity to hold additional forums to ensure families are informed and expectations are managed with regard to those issues. And lastly, I encourage the school board to continue evaluating short-term ways that schools like YES can mitigate or overcome personnel, time, and space constraints. Remember, the PTA is going to operate within these conditions regardless what they are. Our efforts will have a greater impact on a daily basis when they are factored into long-term plans for the schools they support. Thank you for your time listening to our concerns, and thank you for continuing to support YES.
Thank you. Caroline Harris.
Caroline Harris, 306 Artillery Road, Yorktown. Superintendent Shandor, Mr. Chairman, and members of the school board, I'm here tonight to request that you act now to rezone existing residential communities for the 2016-17 school year. First, I would like to thank you for agreeing at your work session on February 8th to conduct a public forum to examine rezoning the Yorktown Crescent development for Seaford Elementary School. This is a great first step to relieve enrollment pressure off of Yorktown Elementary School in the coming years. Secondly, I ask that you direct the division superintendent to appoint a representative advisory committee to review attendance zone boundaries, particularly to review rezoning the existing residential communities south of Fort Eustis Boulevard, as suggested by Mr. Medford and supported by Mrs. Kershke during the February 8th work session. The county's comprehensive plan states that, quote, when feasible, alleviate school overcrowding through revisions to school attendance zones as long as there is excess school capacity at the appropriate grade levels in the system. Yorktown Elementary School, as you know, has seen a 35% rise in its student body since 2009, primarily from students that were rezoned from Magruder, as well as from turnover in existing neighborhoods, as older empty nester households have sold their homes to younger families with school-aged children. The school year started with 713 students at a school that has an instructional capacity of 670 students. In addition to students coming from 2 new developments this year, the county projects there will be 133 additional students who will attend Yorktown Elementary School from 6 other developments, including Yorktown Crescent, in the next 3 years or so, depending on when pending housing developments are built. Many of these students will likely be part of Marine families that are coming to the Naval Weapons Station. This influx would bring student enrollment at Yorktown Elementary to a mind-boggling 836 students from just the new developments by June 2019. Even a larger cafeteria couldn't handle that many students. Rezoning the existing communities south of Fort Eustis Boulevard is the logical and fair solution to ease overcrowding at Yorktown Elementary School. Fort Eustis Boulevard would be a clear and easily recognizable geographical boundary between attendance zones. Students could easily be bused less than 3 miles from these residential communities to Seaford or Dare Elementary Schools, which both had excess capacity at the appropriate grade levels at the beginning of the 2015-16 school year. In conclusion, rezoning existing communities won't be easy, but the logical and fair conclusion is to redistribute students between elementary schools so that all students receive the best education possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Eunice Namkung and Erica Kelly.
Good evening. My name is Eunice Namkung. I am a sophomore at Tab High School. You may remember me from speaking at the school board meeting last school year.
Give your address.
104 Oleander Court.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Erica Kelly, and while I too come to you tonight as a sophomore from Tab High School, residing at 116 Winder Road, I also come to you as a member of Y Street. Y Street is the largest youth-led movement in Virginia and is a youth volunteer program acting as a branch of the Virginia Foundation for Healthy Youth. And our goal is clear: to create a healthier future for Virginia, starting with our youth. Now, this is where the 24/7 campaign comes in. This is a program cultivated to help Virginia schools be tobacco-free 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We plan to accelerate this change in our schools by working for 100% comprehensive tobacco-free school policies. There are 4 key components to a 100% comprehensive tobacco-free school policy. These aforementioned components can be seen on the information card that's been provided for you. Our goals are simple and grounded in the belief that a change to our current policy will create an environment where tobacco products or electronic cigarettes are not being used by anyone, including staff and visitors, anywhere, including off-site school events, at any time.
At Tab High School, we made a lot of progress toward being truly tobacco-free. I had met with my principal, Ms. Siders, to talk about how we can be truly tobacco-free and partner with the 24/7 campaign. She has committed to creating a 100% tobacco-free environment, including using resources found in our 24/7 toolkit. Also, we are hanging up free 24/7 tobacco-free signage. Similarly, the York County School Division is doing a great job to commit to healthy students, staff, and visitors. However, we want to remind you about how important having a tobacco-free school is. And we are asking you to update your tobacco policy so that it is 100% comprehensive. We have provided a copy of our current tobacco-free policy. It only needs a few updates to make it 100% comprehensive. First, the policy specifies many places where tobacco and e-cigarettes are prohibited, but there are potential gray areas that it does not cover. In order to close any loopholes in this language, we propose that the language be updated. First, remove designated smoking areas. Second, include all property, whether owned, leased, or rented. Right now, it only covers the inside to certain areas and buildings. Third, include any school-sponsored or school-related events, whether on or off-site. And fourth, require signage. This helps administrators and staff on the ground to communicate and enforce their policy. Lastly, require consequences for students, staff, and visitors. Consequences support administrators and staff on the ground to helping make sure the policy is enforced.
If the board wishes to move forward with a new policy that would clearly make our schools 100% comprehensively tobacco-free, Y Street has a great way to show our support. First, we will provide free tobacco-free signage to all schools in the division. Secondly, we will offer our free tobacco-free toolkit to all schools in this division. A copy of this toolkit has been presented to the board chair. Thirdly, we will proudly add this division to the list of schools that have become 100% tobacco-free in the state of Virginia. So we stand here tonight as hopeful students who are confident that York County, our county, can be the next division to commit to the resolution of this extremely important issue facing our youth. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Very nice. That concludes the public participation portion of our meeting. If you choose to or wish to speak and you have not signed up to do so, there will be an opportunity at the end of the meeting for you to do that. Before I open up the FY17 budget participation hearing, Dr. Shander would like to have a few words.
Thank you, Dr. George, board members. Just a few information points before we start the hearing. Just a reminder that the superintendent's proposed budget for FY17 has been released. Copies are available at public libraries in the county and on the school division's website. Tonight, the school board's conducting a public hearing on their proposed budget. I wanted to provide a few of the highlights for my budget proposal. The operating budget totals $132,182,475, or $2.9 million, or a 2.2% more than the approved FY16 budget. The budget includes a $2.1 million, or 3.5% increase in state revenue, and a $1.25 million, or 2.5% increase in the county contribution, not including a $900,000 transfer from the County Revenue Stabilization Fund related to impact aid. Of the $2.1 million increase in state funding, $748,000 is required to be spent on state and federal mandates. The FY17 budget is based on a projected student enrollment of 12,620 students. This is a 50-student decrease in budgeted student enrollment. On the expenditure side, my recommendations regarding the FY17 budget focus on three main budget priorities: staff compensation, students with disabilities, and meeting state and federal mandates. I've also included over $957,000 in budget reductions to free up funds to assist in funding the three budget priorities. The school board will also hold a work session on March 14th to further discuss the superintendent's proposed budget, and the school board is scheduled to approve their FY17 budget proposal on March 28th for forwarding to the Board of Supervisors for their consideration during their budget process. So thank you for letting me make those opening comments.
Thank you, Dr. Shander. I now open the public hearing on the FY17 operating budget. We have one person signed up to speak, Sam Uri.
Sam Uri, 302 Penrith Crossing, Yorktown, Virginia, 23692. You know me, I'm very blunt, so I'm going to say everything needs to be said. The state of Virginia should be ashamed of the systemic underfunding of public education in Virginia. The continued underfunding has resulted in our state salaries for teachers being almost $7,000 below the national average. We are the 10th wealthiest state in the nation. Our teacher salary ranks 28th. The national report card ranks Virginia the 51st among the states in Washington, D.C. That's dead last in teacher wage competitiveness. The Congressional Quarterly Press ranks Virginia as 50th in the average teacher salary as a percent of average annual pay for all workers. Let's put this in proper context. Roughly over half of Virginia's teachers come from places outside of the state of Virginia. Nationwide enrollments in university teacher preparation programs have fallen by 10% between 2004 and 2012. According to the Virginia Retirement System, 34% of Virginia's teachers are nearly the age for retirement. Virginia Department of Education estimates that the statewide turnover rate is about 10%. The 2015 Virginia Association of School Superintendents Spring Survey indicated 77% of the responding school division superintendents believe that teachers have left their divisions due to their salary. Virginia's reality is a high retirement rate, a high turnover rate, and few prospects in the teacher pipeline. We must do all we can to get ahead of this by being proactive in every possible way. York County seems to be trying to do exactly that. The proposed York County School Division's budget does a lot for the county and its crown jewel, the York County Public School System. The award-winning, standard-setting school division needs to be fully funded this year. This budget is trying to stay lean, but also accommodate all the federal and state mandates that have been imposed on us. Special needs students' requirements are mounting. The number of English language learners has increased. The community's diverse nature has also increased. The potential morale boost of the pay for employees, a step, a recovered step, and the market adjustment. It's a seismic step in the right direction. We must stay on top of the pay to keep the quality of our employees that we have. Allowing other surrounding school divisions, all of whom do not have the accolades or reputation of York County, to catch up is not in our best interest. York County cannot sit on its laurels. Our county does not set a goal of being mediocre. We collectively, the county government, the county school, and community at large, must do all it can to prepare our students to be the best. We must be producing globally competitive 21st century learners and citizens. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The last speaker we have, if there is anybody that wishes to speak, once again, that didn't sign up, there will be an opportunity at the end of the meeting. At this point, I'm going to close the FY17 public hearing on the operating budget. And we're going to go to matters by board members. I'm going to start way down on the end with you, Mr. Mentor.
All right, sir. I'd just like to say that I'm so want to thank Mr. Shearhart for his presentation on the New Horizons. I had brought that information forward, but he was ahead of me, and I'm excited about that. Also, if you noticed in this morning's paper, New Horizons has 2 teams to compete in a NASA Hunch, which is a culinary art competition, and is pertaining to making food that can be maintained for 3 years in space for astronauts. And it's really a unique program. And like Mr. Johnson said, win or lose, because there's a lot of teams across the country involved in this. And I think there are 21 teams. And he said it'll be a great experience. We do have several students. We have Marcy Moore from Grafton, Allison Bolton from Tab, Alicia Brewer from Grafton, and Alita Luther from Grafton. So we have several students that are involved in this program. So it's, I'd like to taste some of that food when they're finished. Also, I'd just like to say, Read Across America, I think, is always exciting to get into the schools and read to the kids. Had an opportunity to go to Mrs. Carol Byers' class, 4th grade at Grafton Bethel. Thoroughly enjoyed that, and the kids were great. It was fantastic. I know that all of us went to the Bethel Manor Elementary School National Title I celebration. I won't elaborate much on it, but just like say, I cannot believe the kids were fantastic. So they acted better than I did. That's the shame of it. So, but the First Lady was there, and she made some great comments, and I think everyone deserves a pat on the back for what has gone on there. Just one other thing. I can't begin to say how appreciative I am of all the recognition we received as board members and the little gifts. I feel so blessed to be in York County as a board member with the quality of our schools, our teachers, and all of our employees. I ought to be giving you gifts. But thank you for all y'all do, and I deeply appreciate this. That's all I have.
And Mr. Medford.
Well, first, I want to thank everyone for the gifts, too, because there's lots of stuff that I'm going to get to go through, and it's always fun to open up something and see what it is. But we truly do what we do because we care about what our community and our students, the end result, what they will become when they walk through the doors across the stage and with that diploma in their hand one day. For the people that came and presented this evening, it's always, I love hearing from students. I mean, whether it's our accidental academics or our students that stand up with a cause or a purpose, or students that come with us with an issue or a concern they may have in their building or with their education. It's always a pleasure to hear from them, but it's also a pleasure to hear from everyone. I know that it is, you know, as we get out into our communities and we talk with people, we all understand that the people move here for the schools and for public safety, and we respect that, and we keep our standards high, and we see that in our students in the presentations. A couple of things real quick. With the School Board Appreciation Month going on, Seaford Elementary School had me out for lunch. School foods always a delight, but they brought in catered a little bit. But still, Seaford had some students and the administration sit down, and we had a really good lunch the other day, and I want to thank them for that. Today, actually, met with Chad Green, my counterpart on the Board of Supervisors, and we went to Yorktown Elementary School, and we did a quite extensive walkthrough. One of our parents joined us, and that was there. But basically, every nook and cranny, took him outdoors, took him indoors, took him through, and showed him the resources, classrooms that are occupied that can't be part of the instructional capacity components of the school. Looked at everything that we've done outside the building, inside the building, what we're dealing with. Had some real good discussions about just transition time with students between moving from one classroom to the outdoors for a resource and back again, how many minutes that may take from their day, multiplied by 180, and what we lose there. Inclement weather issues, just took him, we had lunch in the cafeteria. He got to see what that looks like during a lunch, and just stuff that goes on in the hallways. He got to see the dynamic staff and administration and students at Yorktown Elementary School. But one thing he did say, he came right out and said, "You need a new school." And I said, "Yes, we do. We need a new school." And so I think Dr. George is going to have someone, and you're going to go to Yorktown Elementary School with your counterpart soon. Hopefully the other Board of Supervisors will visit Yorktown and Magruder Elementary Schools. I know Barbara had waltzed room out to Magruder, dealing with the growth there. One thing I just want to share to the community and the people that spoke tonight, do appreciate your comments, and we do listen. Please have those comments shared at their meetings also. It's important for different set of ears and eyes that may watch their meetings versus watches our meetings. And I think it's important for, as many people as you can reach with your concerns and your, comments that you made tonight about the growth issues that we're dealing with at the two school zones. I know that sometimes comments come up about some of our community that, 70% is like the figure that gets used quite a bit, reference to people that don't have students in our schools. But I think it's time to verify that figure, to find out what truly is the number of families that have students in our schools versus just the figure. I'd rather have it verified at this point because I think our growth deserves that. But with that, we will continue moving forward with the issues in our two zones, Mrs. Haywood. But I think that we have the PTA, we have the community. People truly are concerned, they care, and they're going to be behind us. Hopefully we get our CIP fully funded so we can continue moving forward with those projects. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kursky.
Before I get into my remarks, I want to piggyback on something Mr. Medford said. I think we do need to look at that so-called 30% of the population has students in our schools. And I think we need to also consider that there are many more who have under 5-year-olds who will soon be in our schools and who are going to demand that we offer their children an excellent education. And we also have another part of that on the other end where you have empty nesters who have had children graduate from our schools, and they want to pay back because they know that their children received an excellent education. And so I think when you add those two, you have a much larger percentage of citizens who care deeply about York County schools. I also want to thank everyone for honoring us for School Board Appreciation. It is very touching and very overwhelming, the support that you have all given us. And I know I appreciate it as well as my colleagues. Thank you very much. I also want to thank everyone who spoke tonight, especially the students. We do enjoy hearing from the students, and I can only imagine that we probably look pretty scary sitting up here. So, and you all just came up here and provided an excellent presentation. And as Mr. Medford said, it is so important for us to hear from students and parents and know the issues that are important to you and the concerns that you may have and how you want to improve York County schools. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. As Mr. Mentor said, we were able to celebrate with Bethel Manor, and their celebration is being the Distinguished Title I school, winning that. They were one of 2 schools in the state. And when you think about each state, 50 states has 2 winners, you really see how incredible that award is. As he said, the First Lady, the governor's wife, was there, and also Dr. Steve Staples. And I want to share with you, Dr. Staples, in his remarks, he asked the students, how many of you attended another elementary school before coming to Bethel Manor? And as you all know, Bethel Manor is 100% military students. 90%, at least 90%, if not greater, raised their hands that they had attended another elementary school. And when you think about where they have been stationed, their families have been stationed, former Air Force wife, so retired Air Force wife, so they've been stationed all over the country and the world, and they have been exposed to all kinds of different educational programs from Common Core throughout the United States, and then they come here. Bethel Manor does such an excellent job welcoming the military families and the military students, and I am so proud of them. They definitely deserve this award, and it was a very special day. And I want to shout out to Mrs. Bauer, who is in the audience. I had so much fun reading to your class. They're always a treat. And thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Haywood.
Thank you. I think everybody has agreed that Bethel Manor has done a fantastic job and to recognize them for their accomplishments. I also want to say a special thank you to Tabb Elementary. Some of us had the opportunity to go to Tabb Elementary prior to Bethel Manor. And the First Lady of Virginia was there to observe and to congratulate their breakfast program. And it took me back many years when the school health movement got started, and it was felt as though so many programs should be in school. And some of the naysayers was that school is for educating. You don't need to do everything that should happen in the community, in the schools. And it has shown that there are some things you do in schools and how important they are. So we were very, very anxious, very, very excited with all of the activities going on at Tabb Elementary. And so Dexo just rolled out a new smoothie that I think within the last 2 weeks, and fantastic breakfast. And we're hoping, I'm hoping it will catch on and keep going. To say again, thank you for all that's up here, as I indicated before, and for those of you all who had not seen the medallion, our names are on them. So that's a very, very nice gift. Waller Mill Elementary School is getting ready to have their dinner theater this week, and we always look forward to going to Waller Mill. They always have a fantastic entertainment, whether it's a play or just whatever the case is, but their dinner theater is this week with dinner. I ask you to follow the budget. We have had our joint work session with the Board of Supervisors. If you have not seen it, go back to the TV and look at the old video. We have a long ways to go with the budget. We encourage and ask all citizens to be a part of that. All parents with kids in the school, teachers, as Ms. Kershke said, people from both ends of the spectrum who have young kids not quite in school to those who are empty nesters. But we have a long ways to go. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to Bruton High School girls and boys basketball team. They had a conference wins on both the girls and boys side last Thursday. They won. And it was fantastic to be in the gym when one basket was for the girls and the other for the boys, and they cut them down. They moved into Saturday with the regional play. The girls lost by 3 points, but they won. They played hard. The boys won. And coming up on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, if you need enjoyment, want some action, Bruton High School boys will be playing in the Group 2A Eastern quarterfinals, and we wish them much success. Thank you.
Mrs. Haywood, if I
Yeah.
could jump in real quick too. A past graduate from Bruton High School, Mark Montgomery.
Yes.
I just heard that he's on one of those farm leagues with the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
He just got pulled into spring training.
Okay,
So,
fantastic.
So you have a past graduate of Bruton High not long ago that might be pitching for the New York Yankees.
Small Bruton High School, right?
Yeah, small Bruton High
That's
School.
okay.
And his daddy works for the county,
He's a
correct?
chief
Yes.
deputy,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Very good. Okay, just a couple of real quick things just to add. It's not a whole lot to add to what they've said. Was able to attend a Capitol Conference in Richmond this past week, last week. Touched on things like budget, chairmanship, community engagement. Very informative. Definitely, there's always some kind of take-home from that, and there are several things that I think we can implement quickly on this to help us along. I'll be touring York Elementary with Tom Shepard Thursday. So I want to go at lunch, where it's crazy. And Tom says, well, I want to see Tab Metal. I said, well, you're going to see Yorktown Elementary first. This is really what I want you to see. So Tom's always very good about wanting to come out and see these schools. So looking forward to that. You know, we got this video. This is overwhelming, all this stuff up here. It's just, it's so nice to sit here and feel like, you know, people just tell you they appreciate what you do, because we truly, I can speak for the board, we truly love what we do, and we believe in what we do. It's certainly not because of the money. It's certainly not because of the recognition, because there's not a lot of either one of those generally. So we do it because we love it, and we just really appreciate your thoughts and your words. There was a video that went out from Seaford Elementary students today. I guess it was today, and the students took each one of us and said a little something to each one of us, and it was just so touching. It really was, and it just makes you realize this is what it's all about. It's about the kids. You know, you take all the other stuff and the things that we have to do and the things we have to go through and the bickering with the board of supervisors or whatever it happens to take. It's all worthwhile at the end of the day if those kids are being served well. So thank you for that. Just want to piggyback on, I believe, Cindy, what you were talking about in terms of the 70%, the 30% you're talking about with the kids in the school, 70% that doesn't. I think that is so critical, and I think the critical part to that is that, you know, that 70% needs to understand why it's important to them. And I think that's up to us to help continually educate those folks that don't have kids in the school. This is why it's important. Number one, you may have a grandchild in the school or a nephew in the school someday. Number two, just everything from crime to real estate values. This is just really the gem of York County. And I think we will, going forward in the years to come, continue to try to educate those folks and just express to them why it's so important to us and why we all love York County schools. So, and the last thing, just Mrs. Ford, thank you for all you do. I knew you were going to cry, so I didn't want to say anything earlier. I think you kind of gained your composure now, but I just appreciate you so much. And, you know, there's always a nice voice on the other end of the phone, and I usually call her Sunshine when I call. But she's truly been wonderful, and she, you know, if I forget this, like I do sometimes, she's got me a copy. So she just has our back, and I just really appreciate all that you do for us. Okay. Let's move on to financial matters. Mr. Mentor, I believe you have financial matters this evening.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. George. This evening, under financial matters, we have 3 documents. Document A is consideration of approval of claims for certified for payment. Document B is consideration of approval of financial reports. Documents C, consideration of approval resolution number 16-08, a resolution authorizing Pacific procurement. All of these documents, if you'd like to see them ahead of time, can be found on our website. Now, moving into our first document, certificate for approval of claims for the month of January. We had claims of $3,371,876.37. Now, out of those claims, there are some significant expenditures that I'd like to highlight. And if you turn to that sheet for significant expenditures, on the second one down, you'll see $21,849.30. County of York transfer to the county for New Horizons debt service. This is really a shared service that we share with other school divisions. This is a special ed facility on the back of York Middle School, and that has gone well, and it seems to continue to work out well for all the divisions. Moving down a little further, you'll see where it has County of York gas, diesel, and oil and grease. That was a total of $34,821.29. And then the other one below for gas, diesel is another payment. One was for November, this is for December, was $32,382.60. Well, the good news about there are some savings that have occurred because of falling prices in crude that are great enough that we are looking at possibly being able to buy 3 buses, maybe even 4. So that's a bright spot out of that. Moving down below that, there was for Everett construction for Grafton Bethel Elementary School. There were 3 of those, and the other 2 are kind of located down the page. There was one for $15,549, and the other one was for $32,591.61. All of those 3 charges together amount to $76,372.07 for the renovations that have occurred at Grafton Bethel. Moving down just a little bit, sort of 3/4 of the way down the page, there was a $44,994.19 to the Sentinel contractors for utilities provided to the temporary classroom trailers at York Elementary. So the utility work is taking place and the contract is being paid for those trailers. So that is happening. Moving down to, you'll see a charge of $74,997.24 to Oyster Point Construction for Magruder Elementary School HVAC and partial roof replacement. And there's also another charge at the bottom of the sheet, $155,016.20 to Oyster Point Construction for the HVAC and partial roof replacement. That reflects a total of $230,013.44, which represents 99% of that project being paid off. So we're real proud of the work that was done there. There are 2 charges here. One goes to Oyster Point Construction for $282,185.97, and that was for the Wallamill Elementary School addition and renovation. And there was another charge, $19,967.29, that go to the A&E services provided by, I call them R square, M square, they're RRMM, the architects, a great group of guys. And this is for the 10 classrooms in the new gym. So very excited about that coming online. Really enjoyed looking at the pictures that Mr. Shearhart had tonight. Now moving to our second document, which is the York County School Division FY16 Operating Budget Monthly Financial Report. I'm pleased to say that we've been able to acquire 75% of our funds received to this point, and our total expenditures have been 47%. And it's always good to know that you got more money than you spent, so that was comfortable to see. There have been, the expenditure patterns are as expected for this year to this point. And there has been a sort of a change. You know how important impact aid is to us. And we're fortunate, one of the few school divisions that get it. And it's to the point, Mr. Jarrett, would you please come forward? And I'm going to let Mr. Jarrett explain a little bit about what's happened with impact aid that's encouraging right now, if you don't mind, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mentor. What I want to, I guess, bring you up to date with is where we stand on our impact aid payments for this year. Earlier in the year, we said we were projecting that we're going to be making a number of one-time payments to the school division, and in fact, that has occurred. We received a couple $1 million just 2 weeks ago, and there's more to come. And what that means, though, is right now, we are about $3.4 million over the budget amount, which was about $9.45 million. Now, we can't get too excited yet, though, because by agreement with the county, we will turn that money over to the county for the Revenue Stabilization Fund at the end of this fiscal year, and any additional funds that come in between now and the end of the year as well. But the good news is that those funds will then be available for us to use as we rebase impact aid over the next several years, first thing. And the second thing is it's available for potential one-time capital expenditures as, you know, is deemed appropriate by both the school board and the board of supervisors. So it's a real good sign, and I'm pleased that we at least is going to ease our process over the next several years as we look at lowering that impact aid estimate, because remember, these one-time payments are one-time. And they're not going to be, we'll get some one-time payments in these future years, but they will not be to this extent at all. So any questions on that? I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jarrett. And keep those cards and letters going to Washington.
Yes, sir.
This time, I'd like to take a look at the York County School Division FY16 Food Service Monthly Financial Report. I'd like to, it's good to see that the revenue we received to this point is $1,432,433.85. Our expenditures to this point has been $1,103,514.88. Now, the difference between our revenue and our expenditures is $328,918.97. But I don't get too excited about that because of the billing cycle. We have not received or paid the bill for January for the food service to Sodexo, which would be $220,413.14, which still leaves us an additional revenue of $108,083. So there's a positive there, which has been good to see compared to some of the previous years that we've had with that. Moving to our last document, which would be consideration of approval, resolution number 16-08, resolution authorizing specific procurement. We have 4 items on that this evening. If you take a look at the first 2, we had 53 passenger special needs school buses, which amount to $287,256. And the second one here, we have 3 77 passenger school buses, which amount to $251,833. We were fortunate to be able to purchase these buses on the year-end funds that reappropriate from the county. Came back to us, we used to buy buses. This is also helping to close the gap on our total need of buses, which is a few more than what we show here. Our next item, item 5360, is a track resurfacing at Bailey Field. And I was surprised, to tell you how fast time goes by, this is the first time this track has been resurfaced since 1998. So that's a lot of years gone by. And then our last item, 5375, School Board Office Data Center HVAC replacement. You know, all of our computer equipment through the years has changed, and we've added quite a bit more, and the air conditioning systems are getting to the point that they need to be updated to handle the loads of the computer equipment. So that completes my financial report, and I move approval.
A second?
Second.
Any questions? Ms. Ford?
Yes.
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 Yes. Next is consent calendar. We have 4 items. I'm just going to briefly touch them. One is approval of personnel actions, approval of donations, approval of the minutes from a special meeting February 1st. We were all in attendance at that meeting. And the 4th would be consideration of an approval of an overnight trip for the Grafton High School Model UN to travel to Richmond. Does anybody wish to pull any? Okay, with that, I'd like to go ahead and move approval.
Second.
Any questions at all? Ms. Ford?
A motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mrs. Kersky to approve the consent calendar. Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
And Dr. George?
Yes. Next, we have our action items. And I'm going to have Dr. Shandor go ahead and introduce the first item.
Let me ask if, Mr. Jarrett, if you can come to the podium, please, to speak to the Board of Supervisors issue general obligation regarding the school bond.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. You have before you tonight a resolution to approve, or request rather, to request the Board of Supervisors to approve a bond issue to fund your fiscal year 15 capital improvements program. Now, fiscal year 15, we're in 16 now, so that's a year ago. And this particular resolution is for $12,480,000. There's roughly a $300,000 difference between the resolution and what you had appropriated to you in fiscal year 15. That difference is going to be made up somewhere by the county at their discretion, how they determine to do that. It's not going to be included in this bond issue because those projects were less than 20 years in life, and this bond issue is for 20 years. So that's one little nuance with this resolution that you haven't seen in the past. But the way the process works is you request the Board of Supervisors to issue the bonds. They approve the bonds, and then that's how the funds flow for this. I would indicate also that of the $12 million, we've already spent roughly about 40% of those dollars, because remember, that was fiscal year 15. And so what happens is the funds get upfronted, and then when we issue the bond, we just reimburse, the county just reimburses itself for that. So I've worked with county staff on this, and in fact, I've made an appointment today for Dr. Shandor. He's got to sign the bond resolution as well, and so we'll be doing that tomorrow. And the Board of Supervisors will be considering this resolution, I believe, at their next meeting. So it's a positive move for the school division, and the next one that will be financed will be fiscal year 16, but that will be most likely next year. Okay.
Thank you. Need a motion to approve Resolution 16-07.
Move approval.
I have a second.
Second.
Any questions? Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mr. Mentor to approve Resolution 1607. Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
And Dr. George?
Yes. And the second action item, Dr. Shandor?
Thank you, Dr. George. Board members, March is Social Worker Month, so we have a proclamation this evening. So it's from March 1st through the 31st in recognition of our school social workers, easy for me to say, our school social workers, and the tremendous work that they do. We have 3 social workers who serve our 19 schools. Brendina Tobias, Sally McLean, and Catherine Anthony do a wonderful job supporting our schools and our students and our families, so we certainly want to recognize them this evening. We appreciate and value all of the work of our dedicated social workers.
Thank you. Just need a motion to approve the proclamation for Social Work Month.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Ford.
A motion is made by Mr. Mentor and seconded by Mrs. Kershke to approve the proclamation for Social Work Month. Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
And Dr. George?
Yes.
And could I just echo what Dr. Shandor said? We do appreciate all the work that our social workers do.
Yes.
So many things happen, good and not so good, with our students, and they are there to help with that.
The three of them serving the entire.
The entire division, that's a lot.
Okay, under policy discussion, we have none. First reading, Dr. Shander, could you provide some information?
There are no changes since our last meeting.
So we'll see it back next month.
So that takes us to the report of the superintendent?
Correct. Well,
That would be,
yeah, there's nothing under second reading.
there is nothing under second reading now.
All right. So I have just a couple comments this evening. Just to reiterate, I know we've talked a lot about school board appreciation. The one thing I failed to say earlier is I really appreciate the open and upfront communication that I have with the school board and the school board has with the community. I certainly appreciate in all of your support. I also appreciate the way in which you handle the greater community as well as the individual districts you serve. So I certainly appreciate that. I did want to share that last week I had the opportunity to participate in a superintendent's panel for education and workforce development day. It was sponsored by Lead Virginia Peninsula. It was held at ECPI. It was a wonderful opportunity for myself and Newport News, Poquoson, and Hampton to share the good work of our school divisions. So that was a great opportunity. A few of the other items were talked about earlier. We were really proud to have the First Lady of Virginia visit Tabb Elementary School last week to look at our Breakfast in the Classroom program. Cheryl Parr and her team at Tabb Elementary did a wonderful job sharing all of the success over the last 10 years that they've had that program going there. So we're certainly proud to lift up Tabb Elementary School in that program. Also, we talked about Bethel Manor earlier. Really proud of those students, those teachers in that community. What a wonderful example of when all three are going in the right direction, you can achieve greatness. So I'm certainly proud of them. Great ceremony over there last week. Finally, it's been a busy weekend for many of our students. Ms. Haywood shared a little bit about it, but we had numerous athletic teams and individuals compete this weekend across the state of Virginia. We're certainly proud of all of them. We had not only basketball, we had swimmers and wrestlers and a number of other activities and sports, and really, really proud of them. And, you know, this was across the state of Virginia. I've enjoyed tracking their success via social media. I think our folks do a great job of putting out there how our kids are competing and what the records they set. So again, congratulations to all of our students. And with that, that closes my report of the superintendent.
Thank you, Dr. Shander. Is there anybody that wishes to address the board that did not have an opportunity to do so this evening? If not, our meeting is adjourned. Have a great evening.